Even without the defending champion, Eddie Berglund, not being present in defending his title, USA's Brian Lay, who entered his first IPF World Championship as a first pick with a world-leading season total of 713.5 kilograms, was contesting for the title with a mere 0.14% and/or 1 kilograms lead advantage above second pick and last year's silver medalist, Japan's Kyota Ushiyama, and 0.42% and/or 3 kilograms above third favorite pick, Thailand's Kasemsand Senumong, whose nominated total stood at 710.5 kilograms, alongside an average group difference between the three nominated athletes that stood at a marginal average of 1.5 kilograms, which is quintessentially 84.1% or 8.6 kilograms below the historical 5-year average of 10.11 kilograms. Such close proximity has never been witnessed within the 66 kilograms weight class, specifically within the last 5 years. Entering the championship with both a degree of undertraining due to illness, plus apparently being incurred with jet lag, which has been empirically discovered to negatively impact an athlete's performance. Hence, an optimal performance would have been somewhat of an Herculean task for the athlete. Even though he was entering as the unsaleable favorite pick, Brian missed his third squat attempt of 247.5 kilograms, wherein which historically tend to regress the most in comparison to both the deadlift and bench press principle, with a noted regression between 1.03 to 9.09%. Therefore, a best championship squat of 242.5 kilograms, which in effect equates to both a regression of 1.03% if comparison is made in parallel to Brian's 245 kilograms PR squat and/or 0% if further comparison is made with a similar last best competition squat of 242.5 kilograms at the Powerlifting America National Championships prior to competing at the IPF World. However, Brian's unsuccessful charter throughout the deadlift is plainly indicative of both the extent and dire implications of less than ideal circumstances prior to competing, as mentioned earlier. Historically, Brian, individual reliances to build the athlete's total stood at 34.15% for squat, 22.72% for bench press, and 43.13% for deadlift. However, it's apparent that post-competition, Brian's individual reliance for squat stood at 34.87%, a slight increment of 0.72%, which is 0.44% below the weight class's historical average of 35.31%, with an intention of 35.59%. Bench press reliance at 21.93%, a decline of 0.79%, which is 1.64% below the weight class's historical average of 23.57%, with an additional intended reliance of 22.29%, whilst deadlift reliance stood at 43.20%, a slight increment of 0.07%, which is 0.24% above the weight class's historical average of 42.96%, with a further intention of 44.93% if the athlete successfully undertook his second deadlift attempt of 312.5 kilograms and possibly more. Due to failing both his third squat attempt of 247.5 kilograms and third bench press attempt of 155 kilograms, which isn't unusual for Brian. For example, the athlete's historical regression for bench press stands between 1.64 to 6.78%, which equates to 149.15 to 157.38 kilograms. Taking everything largely in account, it is reasonable to assume the rationale in opening with a 300.5 kilograms deadlift, which is 37.12 kilograms above his average opening of 263.28 kilograms and 1.69% and or 5 kilograms above his most prior opening deadlift attempt at the Powerlifting America National Championship, is merely to fill the necessary 5 kilograms deficit due to both highlighted failed individual attempts. Plus, most imperatively, such would ultimately, and Brian, the lead over both a bulldozing Japan's Kyota and France's Panagiotis, whom had both the lead advantage over Brian prior to deadlifts. It's evident that if Brian was successful in his campaign in deadlifting 312.5 kilograms for his second deadlift, such would have resulted with a championship total of 707.5 kilograms, in turn possibly attaining the world title, but by a marginal difference of 0.35% or 2.5 kilograms. Even though it is left for even more speculation, if one was to further take notice of the athlete's attempt selections, especially for deadlifts. For example, Brian increased the second deadlift attempt by 12 kilograms, similar to his attempt selection at the Powerlifting America Nationals in February, which leads one to ponder whether the athlete intended to further increase by 11 kilograms for his third and final attempt, which would also be a similar attempt selection in comparison to nationals. If such was the case, Brian would have resulted with a world-shattering deadlift world record of 323.5 kilograms, including a championship record total of 718.5 kilograms. Another reasonable scenario could have entailed in choosing a further 6 kilograms for his final deadlift attempt, which would have matched his current deadlift world record of 318.5 kilograms, ultimately resulting in, yet again, a championship record total of 713.5 kilograms, with a less than ideal championship result, especially with a regressive championship total of 695 kilograms. Such was enough for the athlete in gaining his first international silver medal. Interestingly, even though the Berglund athlete experienced a dramatic regression of 5.99%, is nonetheless 1% below some of the group's top 10 66 to 67.5 kilograms athletes of all time. Group's average regression of 6.99%. On another positive note, a 695 kilograms championship total is 97.40% of the overall IPF's weight classes record of 713.5 kilograms and or 97.89% of the championship's record of 710 kilograms, which is currently held by Eddie Berglund, which is above the 95% qualifying total required for IPF Sheffield 2024. Hence, there lies a possibility of the athlete being in receipt of a wild card.
Who's the chip?
They must be thinking it won't be that close, but one turn a chip down.
Oh, it's going to be that close. And speaking, Penna coming out to 285. He's pulled 290 in training. Leading into this. This will put him at 705 total. His best total has been 700, already PR territory if he can hit this. 270 move well, but it's 15 kilo jump. Look at that grind! The heart on Panagiotis! It's legendary for a reason.
The current 2 times IPF 66 kilograms world champion, France's Panagiotis, arguably undertook one of the most exciting and highlighting performance of the championship. and possibly one of the most defining moments of the athlete's sporting career at current, initially entering the championship as the fourth favorite pick with a nominated total of 687.5 kilograms, which is 1.82% and or 12.5 kilograms less than his 2022 nominated total of 700 kilograms. On paper, 3 of the top 3 picks stood at an average lead advantage of 3.59% with an average group total of 712.17 kilograms, which is historically the highest group average within the last 5 championships, wherein which, as a 5-year nominated group average between 680.93 to 683.33% in parallel to Panagiotis' nominated total of 687.5 kilograms. Also worth keeping in mind was the fact that historically the lead advantage post-competition is discovered to increase by 0.62%. Furthermore, between 2021 to 2022, the athletes' year-on-year average total percentile progression has significantly slowed or declined to a percentile of 1.07% in comparison to between 2018 to 2019, whereby Panagiotis experienced an average year-on-year progression of 2.9% upon his competition totals. Hence, it is reasonable to overlook the athlete probability in achieving a medal, much less wrenching away the prospective world title from the top 3 favorite picks. Encouraged by his father's circumstance, Panagiotis displayed his resolve in preparation for an outright battle. From the outset, taking silver for squat, wherein which, in turn, he defeated the number 3 pick, Thailand, Kasemsand, who was entering with the highest nominated squat aptitude of 255.5 kilograms in comparison to his fellow competitors. However, Panagiotis took silver for the discipline with a matching squat of 247.5 kilograms due to weighing more than his closest rival, Kyota, whilst further failing his third squat attempt of 252.5 kilograms. Nonetheless, the athlete's sheer triumph was aided by the fact that Kasemsand's squat regressed by 8.72%, which is 6.64% above the 5-year average squat regression during or post-championship, which stands at 2.08%. The French athlete, once again, placed his competitors even further on the back foot by securing gold for the bench press discipline, wherein which he impressively achieved an all-time PR bench press of 172.5 kilograms, which equates to a 1-year progression of 11.29%, after incurring an average bench press of 164.21 kilograms between 2021 to 2022, with an additional percentile regression upwards of 9.68%. In parallel, between 2018 to 2022, upward regression of 4.69%. It's evidently clear that one of Panagiotis' primary motivating factor in securing the lead for both phases of the competition may in fact be due to the realization that all of the initial top 3 picks' average deadlift aptitude stood at 306.17 kilograms, specifically with the first pick, Brian, who had, on paper, a substantial 13.75% and or 38.5 kilograms deadlift lead advantage above Panagiotis' deadlift of 280 kilograms. Therefore, a competition lead subtotal of 420 kilograms after both phases of the competition has been undertaken would surely not suffice in guaranteeing the title. For example, an equally determined Japan's Kyota, after the second phase, achieved a 417.5 kilogram subtotal, which was comparatively only 0.59 and/or 2.5 kilograms below Panagiotis' 420 kilograms subtotal, including the fact that Kyota had an higher nominated deadlift aptitude of 300 kilograms, which theoretically could have resulted in a 717.5 kilograms total, which in hindsight would have been enough to have won the championships. Furthermore, if one was to account for all the athletes' second phase subtotals, with the addition of their nominated deadlift amounts, it is apparent that the race to the overall championship gold after the second phase of the competition was undertaken lies between both Brian and Kyota, if their respective nominated deadlifts, as stated earlier, being additionally taken in account. Unfortunately, after the second phase of the competition for the third nominated favorite pick, Thailand, Kasemsand, due to experiencing both a regression of 8.72% for squat and 8.77% for bench press, resulted in the athlete battling for an overall fourth position, even with a deadlift of 300 kilograms. Ultimately, with a seemingly unflinching arty fortitude to win, Panagiotis finally clinched his second world title, which was made a more realistic prospect after Kyota failed his second and third deadlift attempts of 292.5 kilograms, winning with a championship total of 705 kilograms, enough to secure automatic selection for Sheffield 2024. Overall, a 705 kilograms total equates to a 1-year progression of 2.5 kilograms, almost a similar rate of progression within the early juncture of the athlete's sporting career. Prior to competing at the championships, Japan's 2022 IPF World Silver Medalist Kyota Ushiyama was amongst the 24 athletes who competed at the historic Sheffield Championship in March. Prior to competing at the IPF World, the athlete publicly declared, quote, "SPD Sheffield 2024 will be held for sure. I have to be in this tournament again. I will fight in Malta with everything I have. I am ready," unquote. And ready he was from the initial commencing of the battle between some of the most talented athletes in the history of the 66 kilograms weight class, wherein which, for example, quantitatively, the average group total stood at 590.63 kilograms, with a median of 618 kilograms, which is relatively between 1.41% to 7.45% above the 5-year group average total, which stands at 582.42 kilograms, with an added group median of 575.17 kilograms. Individually, Kyota, for the first discipline, secured the gold medal with an equally matching squat PR of 247.5 kilograms, which is 1.02% and/or 2.5 kilograms above the athlete's prior squat PR of 245 kilograms. However, comparatively, a 1.02% squat progression is 1.64% to 3.83% below the athlete's historical rate of progression, which currently stands at a year-on-year average of 4.85%, with a median of 2.66%, with a further 1-year progression of 6.45%. Even though Kyota was unable to sustain his lead for the second phase of the competition with a regressive bench press of 170 kilograms versus his closest rival Panagiotis' bench press of 172.5 kilograms, who marginally commanded with a subtotal lead advantage of 420 kilograms, in contrast to Kyota's 417.5 kilograms, due to Kyota missing his third deadlift attempt of 172.5 kilograms. If successful, he would have achieved a matching subtotal of 420 kilograms. Nonetheless, the athlete had a substantial deadlift of 300 kilograms within his armory, which theoretically, if successful undertaken, he could have in fact secured an overall championship victory, even with Bryan's monstrous deadlift of 318.5 kilograms, who was positioned at a bronze medal finish. Unfortunately, once the athlete failed both his second and third deadlift attempts of 292.5 kilograms, Kyota's probability of being crowned world champion decreased tremendously. Overall, Kyota finished with a respectable championship total of 692.5 kilograms, which is in fact both a seasonal or current year regressive total of 2.88% and 1 year progression of 1.09%. Still, a 692.5 kilograms championship total was enough to secure an overall bronze medal, with a possibility of an invite to Sheffield 2024, considering that it surpasses the required 95% qualifying total. Finally, it must be said that it will be fascinating to see the manner in which Panagiotis performs next year at the IPF Sheffield Championship. Also, whether we'll be able to witness almost a 5 times bodyweight deadlift by Bryan Lee. At least, that's if he successfully deadlifts over 320 kilograms, which he is theoretically capable of undertaking. Anyway, kindly leave your comments below and share your thoughts. Blessed love, everyone.